Alright, so we're back again for another review. Last time I reviewed this book by Herbert Shelton. Today we're going to review the second book in the series, Herbert Shelton, The Science and Fine Art of Food and Nutrition, The Hygienic System, Volume 2. If you didn't watch the first video, you might want to check it out first. If not, maybe you're just interested in this book particularly, then keep going. So this book is a book focused specifically on the science and fine art of food and nutrition. Okay, so really just to read a little bit from the index here so you get an idea of what's in the book, we're talking about philosophy of nutrition, food elements, the minerals of life, vitamins, calories, going through all of these different minerals and vitamins and talking about them, organic foods, and then he goes through fruits, talking about what fruit offers for humans, nuts, vegetables, cereals, animal foods, condiments, enjoying our food, mental influences in nutrition, how much shall we eat, how to eat, correct food combining, effects of cooking. So the science of natural hygiene is an ancient science, really. It's the science of health. It's the science of natural living. Health means whole, and whole is essentially when things are in a state of working order. Health means it's the default in nature. Nature always works towards health. So when we get a cut, it heals. Our body is always working towards becoming whole again. And when we eat, we are supposed to supply our body with nutriment, and we want to avoid causing damage to our body by ingesting toxins and things like that. But of course, in today's society, we eat a fairly denatured diet of cooked foods and condiments and stimulants and drugs and really all kinds of weird stuff. Anything that can be eaten, we eat it. Anything that can literally be chewed up and swallowed down and eliminated without causing acute damage, we eat it. That's really not the norm in nature. If we want to get back, we could say get back, but let's say get forward. If we want to get forward to the norm, forward to the way it's supposed to be, reading this book would be a good idea. This book really covers everything about eating and nutrition in a very intelligent way that I haven't seen in many other books. Herbert Shelton is, in my opinion, the best of the best when it comes to health science. He is one of the fathers of the modern natural hygiene movement. He's one of the most prolific writers. He writes in a very intelligent, easy to read actually way, and he has so much knowledge. It just pours out of him, really. I think he wrote 40 books, so this guy, he's very inspired. He wrote this book in 1935. So it's an old book, and I like the style, basically. It's old school. It's very thorough, it goes through everything in a very thorough way. And I want to mention that, in today's world, when we read nutrition books, they tend to be very focused around micromanaging the diet, right? We hear about the specific nutrients, how much we need of this nutrient, how much we need of that nutrient, and then it seems people think that for optimal health we should somehow try to create the perfect diet by choosing this much of that food and this much of that food and sort of fitting it to some kind of idea we have of how much we need of each nutrient. And this is a very fractional way of doing it. It's fractional thinking, isolating nutrients and treating them as isolated from other nutrients, because in reality everything in nature comes to you as a whole. That's including food. Food comes to us as a whole product. Every animal in nature has food that it's designed to eat, and that food contains everything that animal needs. And when it needs something else, it will seek out that food in whole, natural, raw form. So learning about nutrition should not be so much about learning about the individual nutrients and what a protein is and what a carbohydrate is, even though those are important factors in learning about nutrition, and Herbert Shelton explains those factors as well in this book. But the main focus for someone wanting to learn about health and nutrition should be understanding the relationship between human beings and their food, and what is optimal food for human beings, and understanding principles like all animals eat raw food, and if we're going to eat raw food, what food is available to us and appetizing to us in its raw natural state? Well, really it's just fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds maybe. So that already gives us an idea of what human nutrition should look like. So it's really a shift, a paradigm shift. Instead of looking at food based on nutrition, right? Look at nutritional science dictating what food we should eat. We should look at nutrition based on food, meaning that the foods that are naturally appealing to our senses and digest well and are, that we find in a natural state in nature, those foods should dictate what our nutritional science looks like. Because today, nutritional science is based on looking at the standard population, really, and the standard population is kind of sick, to be honest. So I think to develop proper physiological norms, we need to look at healthy specimens, healthy human beings, and there are not that many of them actually today, because we're all living in a very unnatural, denatured, sick way. So the Science and Fine Art of Food and Nutrition, this book will go through some of those principles, in the natural hygienic way. Natural hygiene just means natural health. Hygiene is the science of health, as opposed to the science of disease and sickness, which is what doctors do, essentially. Doctors are experts in pathology, the science of sickness, anatomy, they know the body and all those things. But the science of health, hygiene, that's something completely different. Because the medical model works under the idea that sickness is inevitable and sickness comes from outside and attacks us. We got diabetes. Oh shit, you got diabetes, So they're working just under that idea that sickness is something we need to fight against with drugs and treatments. It's inevitable. Whereas natural hygiene, and I would say common logic, says that we create disease ourselves by disobeying the laws of nature. When someone has diabetes, they are causing their diabetes by their habits, by their lifestyle. To a certain degree, genes play a role, but it's commonly accepted that genes play a very small role when it comes to diabetes, except for type 1 diabetics, obviously. But type 2 diabetics and many other diseases are caused by our lifestyle, the way we live. So essentially what we're doing is just we're living in a way that's not in accord with our physiology. We're eating foods that were not designed to be able to digest properly. We're eating things that might harm us, toxins and poisons. We're drinking alcohol, we're smoking cigarettes, we're doing things that are damaging our system, and the symptoms that arise, the symptoms of disease, will not subside until we stop causing that. If you're smoking and you got lung disease, it doesn't work. You can't really just take a pill or a potion and then you're okay. No, you gotta stop smoking. You got to stop smoking, stop causing the problem, and start breathing proper air, fresh, clean air with lots of oxygen. So the science of food nutrition talks about what we should avoid, and it also talks about what we need to get. So both avoiding toxicity and avoiding deficiency. This is a really good book just talking about it overall. I don't agree with everything. I think some of his ideas on exactly what we should eat seem to be a little bit biased by the fact that he doesn't live in the tropics. I think that human beings should ideally eat tropical fruit. That's the ideal food for us. Whereas Herbert Shelton seems to be more biased towards vegetables and temperate type fruits, but that's okay. The principles in the book is what really matters. And if you're interested in health, if you're interested in nutrition, I would really advise you to read this book. In addition, I would of course advise you to read this book, which is number 1. This is number 2. I have a review on this one that you should watch. You could get both of them. That would be super awesome. Then you could really educate yourself. That's a lot of fun. In addition to this book, I would also advise the 8-10-10 diet by Douglas Graham, which is a modern practical guide to natural hygiene in terms of eating and in terms of diet. And yeah, that's Herbert Shelton there. Nice fella. Alright, so enjoy that book. I'm sure you can get it on Amazon. Read and be happy. Educate yourself. And of course stay open to new ideas and learn from other people. And most of all, think critically and think for yourself. Ask yourself questions when you're reading. Ask yourself questions when you observe nature. Why is it like that? Why is probably the most powerful question you can ever ask. And of course, you can never really always answer it either, but you can ponder on it. And pondering is good. So, thanks for watching. See you around.